Excuse me.
Excuse me? Hey, Morris, care for a mint?
No, thank you, Dr. Carter. I'm counting calories.
Don't care for a chart, then? This, is Mrs. Rosario. And I'm making a note about reducing her medication. So would you remind the nurse in charge?
Okay, and I'm sure the nurse will read the chart.
I know, but we're working so hard around here these days that I figured a little reminder, you know, would never hurt. You don't look so happy, old man.
I've just been held up for blackmail.
Roger?
He put together enough of the blood type information to assume that Frank is Edmund's father.
How'd he pull it off?
He got Frank's blood type, he had Edmund's blood type. He just happened to be on vacation in Canada, and he just happened to be near the hospital where my mother said my records were kept, and he just happened to get my blood type.
And you just happened to be right about why he was visiting your mother in the first place.
Yep.
Well, you don't have to explain what he wants from you.
No, either I put him back on staff in neurology, or he's going to ask Jillian for a blood sample.
And then tell her why he wants it, huh?
You got it.
You know, it's a little ironic. Roger lost his job here in the first place because he was blackmailing Frank. Now he wants to get it back by blackmailing you. I mean, he is unbelievable. He's a walking, breathing embodiment of the word unprincipled.
Damn. Tell you, I really don't like being held up.
What are you going to do about it?
Well, I'm not going to let Roger blackmail me, I'll tell you that. And I'm certainly not going to let him tell Jill who the father of her child is. Kind of narrows down the options, doesn't it, Buck?
I'm afraid so.
Well, I knew I was going to have to tell her sooner or later.
Well, look, Seneca, I mean, this doesn't have to mean a reconciliation. Jill might not be as mad over Frank as you think she is.
Boy, I hope not. For her sake and for Edmund's.
So what happens now?
Now I gotta pick up that phone and, I gotta call Jill.
Okay. See you later.
Call me Jack.
Hello, Finelli.
Countless friends and admirers call me Jack. Hi, Frank.
I'm glad to see you're up and around. They say you're well enough to go home tomorrow.
Hope springs eternal.
Well, maybe you're well enough to have a little straight talk.
I take it you've read my bit of reporting about the perils of being a patient at Riverside?
Reporting? It's an abuse of your column that's going to hurt everyone and everything it's about, Jack.
Oh? I thought I wrote a terse little narrative about my experience here and the experience of a few others I'd heard about. I can't imagine who that hurt.
You can't. Look out the window. There's lots of people around here who need medical help.
Wish 'em luck. They check into Riverside.
Come off it, Jack. This is serious.
Never said it wasn't.
Outside that window's a woman with a pain in her side, a little kid with a nasty infection, some worker with blurred vision, and they're going to wonder after reading your article, or worse, hearing about it secondhand, if this is the kind of place that they can trust to come for help.
They have the right to wonder if this is the kind of place they can trust at all.
Look, Jack, we've done everything we can. A real community effort to show people that Riverside is not a dangerous place and that a hospital is not just some place you go to die.
Look, I spent some time in the field. I know how superstition and fear can keep people away from a place. But what's the point of educating the people if when they come here, they're kept waiting for hours, or they're terrified by mistakes, or they're misplaced, or the staff forgets their name, can't even speak their language?
Man, your perspective is way out of whack.
You're a little tender about this, Frank. Now, you sit on the city council general welfare subcommittee. How about telling them about this? This hospital needs money.
You think the council doesn't know about that? I have talked myself hoarse about Riverside and the rest of the city hospitals in front of the Board of Estimate. But this is a big city in a bad time, and we're going to have to live with it. There simply isn't the money.
Well, that's a lame excuse. The city have a responsibility to provide adequate health care, or doesn't it?
Somebody does, but until we figure out who, the city's doing the best it can with what it has, and baby, you aren't helping.
Anybody that checks into this place under the current conditions has the right to know what to expect. Talk to your brother, Pat.
Oh, you've got a nerve bringing up Pat's name in this conversation.
If you want to call it a conversation.
For your information, Pat's in trouble because of what he told you about the Spanish-speaking patient.
I quoted Pat anonymously. I've never betrayed a source.
He didn't even know he was a source. You didn't tell him you were writing a story, Jack. And secondly, maybe the rest of New York didn't know who your young resident is, but inside this hospital, it wasn't hard to figure out that the young resident you probably spoke to was your brother-in-law from neurology.
All he did was describe what happened. I reported the facts, no editorializing. Now, if the hospital doesn't like it, then it's their responsibility to change the conditions around here. Now, that's what this is about, Frank. Change. The need to make things better. And a cover-up never changed anything.
But what cover-up? There is nothing to cover up. I mean, Riverside is just a place that does a lot of good work for a lot of desperate people and makes some mistakes in the process.
Anybody who's got an official position around here seems to spend an inordinate amount of time painting the sky rosy over Riverside. Now, what's in this for you?
No. What's in it for you, Finelli? Getting even with the nurse who left you outside X-ray?
I account for my motives. Thanks very much.
I'd hate to think that you were just using Riverside to brush up your image as Jack Finelli, crusading columnist.
I hate to think that you can take Riverside and its mistakes and its budget cuts and your brother Pat, who at least spoke up, and you roll them all up into a ball. Throw away the ball, and all you got left is Mary.
And what has she got to do with this?
I said no to her. I said a lot more than that. I tried to explain, but I can't, and I won't be married to her anymore, so I'm on the enemies list.
Jack, if you're looking for enemies, you're in the right business. But I'm not your enemy because of this or Mary. I think you've treated her badly. Very badly, but that's your problem. So don't confuse your guilt with my feelings on the subject.
Guilty about anything.
Then don't bring it up, you and Mary, or if you do, try to discuss it with a little more insight.
Okay, get out. That's enough. Before I really lose my temper, I don't need the Ryans, any of them. So take the message back for me, okay? I don't need Mary to love me. I don't need Maeve to understand me. I certainly don't need Frank to counsel me, and I don't need Pat as a tipster, all right?
Well, I guess I dropped the fox among the chickens in Jack Finelli's guilty mind.
Out!
All right, I'm going. There's a lot more I want to say, but later. But we may have to learn to be friends yet, Jack. If my good sister prevails, we're going to be brothers-in-law for some time to come.
Don't bet any money on it.
You know, if I didn't know the whole medical history of Edmund's short life, I wouldn't even begin to guess that he wasn't the most normal baby ever.
It is something of a miracle, isn't it?
Oh, it sure is. And a tribute to the persistent will of his parents. Ah, Edmund's going to be right as rain.
Now, who said that? Right as rain.
Dad, of course. You know, I can't help thinking of him every time I see the baby with Miriam. She took care of us as kids, and now she's taking care of your son. It's kind of nice to know that in this slightly frazzled world of ours, there is some continuity.
Uh-huh. I only wish Dad could have seen his namesake. I think that he would have liked little Edmund. Here you go.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Oh, by the way, did you see Finelli's article in today's paper? Conditions at Riverside?
Has anybody missed it? The entire hospital is buzzing.
Oh. And I understand that Pat was the source of the information about the Spanish-speaking patient?
Yeah. It's so like him, too. To speak openly and freely about something and not even suspect that he might be being used by Jack.
Well, I don't think it was too wise.
Frank, among other people, was pretty mad about the whole thing.
You saw him?
Steaming down a corridor on his way to give Jack a piece of his mind.
Well, the Ryans stick together, no matter what.
I think he was angry at more than the newspaper column.
Yeah, I suppose you mean Seneca and me.
It was on his mind, you might say.
Yeah, well, what else was on his mind?
He just doesn't see any hope for the two of you as long as you let Seneca have so much to say about the
You
shape
know-
of your life.
Oh, that is such nonsense. I mean, it's Edmund that really matters.
Hey, don't argue with me. It's not my fight.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Did he say anything more?
Oh, he's trying to work it all out for himself. He has this theory that he thinks will help him through.
You know, he is such a maker of theories. He should have been a scientist.
It's kind of sad in a way, but he's convinced that something in you wants a man like Seneca there. Something in you wanted things to work out the way they did. Seneca was your excuse, your unconscious way of keeping the two of you from finally getting together.
Unconscious excuse. Oh, dear Dr. Frank Freud Ryan. You know, I just wish he would stop and think about the baby and the practical matters that come along with him instead of trying to analyze me. I mean, you have to see that.
What I see makes me sad. Two people who ought to be loving each other, spending most of their time fighting, each convinced that the other is totally in the wrong. And two wrongs don't make a right.
But you know what two rights make? Yeah, the first airplane. I know, that was one of Dad's jokes. I remember.
One of his favorite jokes.
You know, I'm sorry. I really wish that I could look at you and say you're right and that there's some kind of compromise that Frank and I could reach. But I don't know. I just can't. I just can't.
Well, then I'm sorry.
Oh, I know you are. Oh. Oh, excuse me. Miriam, I'll get it. Hello?
Yeah, hi, Jill. Seneca. Listen, I know you wanted to spend a couple hours at home, but I've got to talk to you.
Is it important?
Yeah, I'm afraid it's very important.
Well, can you come over?
Well, I'll tell you, I'd really rather talk to you alone without Miriam putting around in the other room. Maybe we could make it over dinner, huh?
Oh, look, I don't know about dinner, but if you really want to see me, then I'll come over there if that's what you want.
Please. I wouldn't ask you if I thought it could wait.
Okay, I'll come right over.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Is it serious?
I don't know. Says he wants to see me and it can't wait. I really don't know what could be that urgent, but I guess I should go.
Driver's
I feel like my whole body's vibrating. Like there's a low-grade electrical charge running through me.
It's exhaustion. Stage 4.
Well, I got 10 precious minutes of sleep time ahead. So this conversation is officially over.
Be my guest.
Is it true, that Pat's in hot water about talking to Jack Finelli and being reported?
Well, he's not in so much hot water this time, but I figured Finelli sucked him in anyway. But he's just got to be more careful in the future, Bucky, that's all. Bucky. Bucky. Now, I wish I could do that.
Excuse me, I'm looking for Dr. Moultrie.
Fortunately, I am Dr. Moultrie. And your search is over.
How do you do?
How do you do?
My name is Alicia Nieves. I'm a paraprofessional here at Riverside Hospital. And, well, I was trained in your new program.
Nice to meet you. Can I offer you some coffee?
Oh, no, thank you. Administration sent me down to see if perhaps you needed someone in neurology who was bilingual.
Do we ever? Please sit down, please.
Thank you. Do you have very many cases where language is a problem?
Oh, well, let's say we get our share. Yes, you see, the big difficulty is that, okay, I have Dr. Ryan, Dr. Carter, Dr. Grace, who they manage some Spanish, but what we really need is someone who knows Spanish, who has a medical background, and who can help us ask the right question right away. Mm-hmm. Huh? So, would you possibly be interested?
We'll have to see about that. I know you have a lot of questions that you want to ask me, but I would like to ask you a few questions.
Well, that's a little unorthodox.
What I mean is that I have been in the OB clinic now for 18 months, and I love my work. Frankly, I love being in a place where new life is happening all the time.
Oh, it's the Sunshine Department in every hospital I remember.
And I have my seniority there. In fact, I was able to keep my job even during all the cutbacks that were caused because of the budget business here in the hospital.
Well, they must have thought that you were just so good they couldn't possibly let you go.
I would like to believe that, of course. But if I were to change departments, I feel that I myself would have to feel that my job was where I was most useful, that my skills were important, and that I was learning new things and meeting new people.
Okay, all of that's possible right here. I think that you'll be even more valuable in neurology because most of our cases are pretty serious.
Yes, I thought about that.
Now, I can't guarantee anything, except that the caseload will be varied, that we all work together very hard, and that if you're willing and able, you'll find a very, very nice place to work.
What about my seniority? I have a brother at home who is dependent upon me, and I must be careful.
I'm sure your seniority will be transferred with you, Ms.
Nieves.
Nieves.
Alicia.
Alicia, yes, okay. Alicia, listen. We need someone. I know. I promise you that your time will not be wasted. I promise you.
Well, I do find neurology very interesting, and I do think we may be able to work something out.
Yes, we may indeed. Look, I'm going to call your supervisor right now, and I'll get back with you, okay?
Can you assure me...
Come on, what?
Assure me that you are interesting. Oh, no, that the hospital, well, the work here, that it is interesting and rewarding.
Ms. Nieves, I personally guarantee that everyone in this hospital is a red-hot zinger. Now, look, I want you to take a look at Dr. Carter over there. Look at him. Listen to that snore. Now, have you ever heard a snore more interesting than that in your life? Tell me.
No, that's a great rumble that man is making.
That man has earned every minute of that.
All right.
Okay.
I'll try it. That is, of course, if you want me.
I'm going to get your record sent down right now and call you.
I think it is time for me to make a change. I like new challenges.
I think it's beautiful. Look, I tell you what. I'll call you at the clinic tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Moultrie, and I assure you that you have a very hard and willing worker in Alicia Nieves.
Alicia, I have no doubts. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, I thought I'd died and gone to heaven. Because when I woke up, I saw an angel.
Now, that was a paraprofessional.
Oh, and then I thought I must have been in some other place because I saw you. You gonna hire her?
Well, probably. She's just what we need.
Oh, that's the truth.
Look, I was talking professionally, Doctor.
So was I.
Yes, your 10 minutes is up. Let's go back to the ramparts, huh?
Uh-huh. Well, I'm on my way.
Give me
That's his...
It's important. Hi, Morris.
Mr. Ryan.
Looking for my brother.
Ah, I don't know where he is. Is it important?
It's important, but it's not critical.
Well, I could have him paged.
No, why don't I leave a note for him, okay?
Oh, look, he's Dr. Moultrie. He knows if anything.
Slim, how are you?
Good to see you.
Look, I'm looking for Pat.
Well, he's with Mr. Luria. That's his Spanish-speaking patient. He's in X-ray. It'll be no more than about 30 minutes at the most. You want to wait?
No, Listen, will you do me a favor? Just tell him to give me a call when he gets off duty.
Sure, will do. Does this have something to do with Jack Finelli's column?
Look, I better talk to him. Thank you.
I'll tell him.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thanks, Morris.
You're welcome.
Do you have a minute?
Yeah, sure I do.
Well, let's get out of all this traffic. Wasn't the way things ended bad enough? I mean, wasn't that the bottom line?
Yeah, I thought so.
Then why are you going on making it worse?
But going on with what? I'm just going on with my business, Jill.
Well, that's not what my sister tells me.
I didn't realize that Faith had much to do with our breakup. I thought it had a lot to do with Seneca, rather.
Yeah, well, that's your story, and I suppose you'll stick to that until you can find somebody to believe it, but it's not going to be my sister. So don't think there is anything to be gained by laying your instant analysis of me on her.
Oh, I see what it is. Because I offered a few what I thought were fairly accurate observations to Faith about you, you're angry.
They weren't accurate. I mean, you told her that I'm using the situation between Edmund and Seneca to keep us apart, that I want that?
That's the way it looks from here. I'm sorry.
Sorry about what? I mean, how can you presume to know better than I what I'm doing and why?
Because it's as obvious as the nose on your face.
Oh, no. No, what's obvious is, in this, Frank Ryan comes slightly ahead of me and my life and my child, that there is going to be nothing but anger and tension between us, and not very much love.
Okay, now that's your version. I see it a lot simpler. Now, the way I see it, you'll take any road, use anyone or anything as an excuse not to make a permanent commitment to me.
You know, I am just a voice in the wilderness of Frank Ryan's ego. That's what's clear. And I'll tell you something, and still you listen to me and believe when I tell you that my son is at least as important as you are. There is just no place for us to go.
I don't want to hear any more of this.
Oh, you never listened to begin with.
I heard the end of that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so am I.
Still hurts, huh?
Yeah, too much. Oh, look, I don't want to go into this. Where do you want to talk? In your office or here?
No, I think maybe we better put it off.
Well, I would appreciate that.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you got a rain check on that dinner.
Yeah, thank you.